This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready?
And now, the W with Walls and the Crew.
Good morning.
Where winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. On 100.1 FM.
Good morning.
And Facebook Live.
Good morning. Right back like we never left. Another Saturday morning with the W Show Kansas City, talking sports and pop culture. You're listening to the W Show on 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio. Watching us live on one of our social media pages. If this is your first time checking us out, we appreciate it. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. My name is Steve Walls. As always, I'm joined by the other hosts of the show, DJ Q and Jazz. How is everyone this morning?
Good.
Good.
Up and at 'em.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Saturday in Kansas City.
Yeah, it actually feels good outside.
Yeah, it's crazy because we just had a couple of days full of 101, 104 degree weather, which isn't bad for this side there.
Oh, it's getting there today.
The Negro League Baseball Museum president and friend of the show, Mr. Bob Kendrick, announced this morning a new kicking collaboration with Sporting Kansas City, which celebrates Juneteenth and the heroes of the Negro League who went to bat for a change. The capsule is available starting actually on June 23rd, exclusively at Sporting Style Stores and Children's Mercy Park and the Negro League's Baseball Museum. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And he celebrated a birthday this week, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah.
We're also excited to announce our barbershop and beauty salon tour. So if you are a shop or salon owner, or if there's a location that you frequent every week and get your wig done, let us know. We'd like to come and broadcast from your location. So please contact any one of us, and we will get you set up. And I believe that's gonna be fun, y'all.
Yeah. Are you a haircut a week, Steve?
I am now. It stopped for about a good year where I was going like once a month, and then kind of trying to do it myself, and that didn't work out. I felt like I was in college.
Yeah. You one of those guys to shave off your own eyebrow, huh?
Close. Close. Half of it. Coming up on today's show, former Chiefs running back Le'Veon Bell is in the news. Le'Veon said he'd retire before playing for Andy Reid again. Things like that make you go,
Yeah.
We'll definitely get to that. And we'll talk to the NBA, including Los Angeles Lakers LeBron James. Says he predicted this rash of injuries after a quick turnaround to start the season. Kentucky head coach John Calipari, he is reportedly open to returning to the NBA. Seems like a trend happening there. And coming up in about 30 minutes, we will have our Snickers of the week, and we'll have that during our Hater Leber segment. So let's get to today's headlines.
And now, here are the biggest sports headlines from this week. We bring them to you every Saturday morning on the W with Walls and the Crew on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Former Chiefs running back Le'Veon Bell said he'd retire before playing for Andy Reid again. He wrote on his Instagram Saturday that he'd never play for Andy Reid again after someone asked him if he'd return to the Chiefs in 2021. I'd retire first, he added. He signed with the Chiefs 4 days after the Jets released him in October following a poor 17-game stint in New York. I think we'll start with you.
This is I don't know. We had an extensive conversation during the meeting this week about this. And it's crazy because And we have some audio from Andy Reid and also Tyrann Mathieu, who responded to Le'Veon Bell. But it just goes to show you that some guys, they just aren't happy when they don't get playing time, no matter. And if we have some Chiefs fans that are tuning in as well as they do every week, we appreciate it. But you have guys like Le'Veon Bell. Let's just rewind the tape for a second. So Le'Veon, of course, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He wasn't happy with his contract there. He wanted to get paid more money, so he sat out for a season. Then the New York Jets picked up Le'Veon, and he played for them for three or four games of the season. And he wasn't happy there. He wasn't happy. I mean, he got the money, then he still wasn't happy. And I don't know if it's because he wasn't happy because they were losing. He wasn't happy because things weren't going his way. We don't know. So Le'Veon asked for a trade. Le'Veon was in the Chiefs. Or the Jets released Le'Veon, and the Chiefs picked up Le'Veon, and so he became a Kansas City Chief. And he got in a few games, but the thing about it is he didn't play when it mattered. He didn't get that much playing time in the playoffs. He didn't see the field during the AFC Championship game. He actually was a healthy scratch during the AFC Championship game, and during the Super Bowl, he didn't see the field. So of course Le'Veon is going to be upset. But for him to come out and publicly say it just doesn't add up. Andy Reid is one of those guys in the NFL that's like no one says anything bad about. And I know that's kind of a head scratcher. It's like, well, if no one has something bad to say about you, then something must be wrong. No, Andy Reid is just that dude. Like him, Andy, Bill Belichick, they're like, right now, I think they're like neck and neck. Not coaching, but just like as persona, as like the league godfather, so to speak, that are still coaching. So for Le'Veon to come out and say this, it's kind of just like, Le'Veon, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you went on that long rant, Steve. But I don't think anyone outside of you looks at Andy Reid as a godfather in the NFL. And probably only the Chiefs Kingdom. I can't say anybody outside of the team or the Chiefs Kingdom really looks at him as that. But we don't know what Andy Reid did or said to make him feel that way. It would be all speculation from here. And to me, what Andy Reid said yesterday, taking the high road, it just says to me, one, that we know that the Chiefs don't like anyone in their organization that's outspoken. And so maybe that was some of the frustration. Again, this is all speculation. But to me, it says that Andy Reid did something to him, and he was expressing his frustration just online. And Andy Reid's going to deny it, whether it's true or not. And we see that happen with NFL front offices. We see that with Roger Goodell. We see them pretend to take the high road when we know I won't say we know, but most times there's something shady going on. And Le'Veon was a victim of it. And Steve, you talked about in the meeting about him being blackballed, potentially for going against Andy Reid, but that just shows the problem with the league and what they allow with coaching, and how players are treated. And Le'Veon is apparently one of those guys that you can't play with. You play with him, he's going to show his frustration. And I think the same happened with, similar to Deshaun Watson's situation, wanting to get out of there. And some players just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, let's hear from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid.
Listen, I really enjoyed my time with him here. So I appreciated the way he handled things and did his business. And he had some productive downs for us. And I'm pulling for him in the future. I mean, that's how I roll. I mean, people say things, they say things. So I move on and wish him the best,
And a guy that's on the Chiefs organization, we can say Andy Reid kind of kept it PC in that response, but a guy who I definitely I love talking to this guy, and he always keeps it real. And that's Tyrann Mathieu. He responded to Le'Veon Bell, and it was asked about it yesterday. Let's hear from Tyrann.
Sure. Obviously, I feel like he was a great teammate when he was here. Obviously, things don't go our way. It's a performance-based business, and it's a lot of things that determine our performance, right? It's not just what we do on the football field. And I'm wishing him the best. I'm hoping things get better for him. But this is probably one of the finest organizations I've ever been a part of. As far as the locker room, our coaches, they're transparent, they're honest, and I think in this business, man, that's really all you can ask for, right? It's honesty, from coaches, because they don't have to tell us the truth, But I do feel like Coach Reid and his staff, they're some of the best people and coaches I've been around.
So when you hear what Tyrann had to say, and the main thing that I got from that is honesty and the truth. And Le'Veon went on to say in his social media rant or Twitter fingers or whatever you want to call it, that Andy Reid had something to say to him, right?
Of course.
And so Tyrann, he kept it real. He said, this is a performance-based league. One, coaches, this organization will be brutal. Whether he didn't say brutally honest, but he did say honest. So even if Andy was brutally honest, man, you are a professional football player. Like you don't have to respect what he says, but you got to take heed to that and say, hey, look at yourself. It's like, man, am I doing something wrong? Like maybe I'm not playing my A game, which is the reason why he didn't get any clock. And that's why he's mad, because Andy kept it real.
I wouldn't say Andy kept it real. So again, we're all talking speculation. So we could act like Andy kept it real. And Steve, I like this cape that you have on today. It is, and you know what? Did you borrow Mr. Wheeler's cape? Because I saw it was like his birthday, so he might need that back. But I'm not gonna go as far as to say that Andy has a lot of people that are gonna defend him, and he knows that. Which is why he doesn't want to tell the truth of what happened, in my opinion. And if it was really, him tripping, they would, if it was Le'Veon tripping, I'm sure Andy would say something. But that's why, people do that, especially the players. We've seen it with Julio Jones. We've seen it with Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun caught the worst end of it. But we've seen it where these players have been mistreated, and they're just expected to. You even heard Tyrann say it, like they don't have to tell us the truth, and it's a stretch to say that the Chiefs organization is truthful, and we all know that. So that's a very slippery slope to go down. Yeah. So because they weren't honest about why they let go of Marcus Peters, and that is to be a fact. So that's why you're laughing. So it's just fun.
Outlier though. But this one is like,
no,
man, come on.
No. There's certain guys you don't play with, and clearly Le'Veon is one of them.
Now, I guess you can agree to disagree. But,
of course.
But a couple other guys you don't play with, Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, Madden NFL 22 cover.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time in 12 years, two athletes are sharing the cover of the eternal game, Madden NFL 22. Who better to symbolize today's NFL than Tampa Bay Bucks quarterback Tom Brady and Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Pat Mahomes, who were last seen together at the Super Bowl?
I don't really like the goat, baby goat. I really don't like that kind of scenario, but it's cool. It's cool that because we rarely get to see a sometimes they put guys who are not worthy up on that pedestal. Younger guys. I'm not talking about Tom Brady. I'm talking about just younger guys. Sometimes in all sports, they'll get a guy who has an exceptional year, like an exceptional first year, second year. They're like, oh, maybe he can be the next. And then he just kind of like falls off the face of the earth. And Patrick Mahomes hasn't really done that. And I think he's one of the guys that, and I'm not saying he's going to be the next Tom Brady. I'm not saying that because he has a lot of championships that he needs to get under his belt before he can do that. But he's kind of embraced it, and the league has embraced him. Not only the league, but you have rappers that are Drake mentioned him in the song. You have Amigos who titled a song after Mahomes. So you in other leagues as well, like LeBron and Uninterrupted, his show. So you have Patrick Mahomes, who is like not put on a pedestal and not deserving of it.
Yeah, I think this is I think this is the Madden cover really trying to do things a little different. We know it was the COVID year for the NFL, so it was really tough to get that guy on the cover.
Yeah.
And I mean, when's the last time someone lost the Super Bowl that bad and made it to the Madden cover? So, they definitely had to shake things up. Definitely had to go a different direction, especially with how the world is changing. And yeah, I think this was they hit the easy button when it came to marketing, because I have we heard any new features about the game? Has the game changed in the past 5-6 years? It's like the iPhone. They keep putting out the same iPhone.
Like, I haven't played it in probably 10 years.
Yeah, it's they keep putting out the same product. So the marketing has to shoot up there, and so we see the jig.
But I did see what you did there, though, Q. I see what you did there as far as when did they put a quarterback who got beaten in the Super Bowl. I see it, but it's cool.
I mean, yeah, touchdown machines that can't produce touchdowns. That's sad. But I mean, you said undeserving. So,
like you said, I definitely got some flashbacks from that cover. Yeah, I do see what they were doing there for sure. Now, we have a lot of NBA news to talk about. First up, the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul out indefinitely placed in NBA health and safety protocols. The Suns coach Monty Williams wouldn't say whether he expected Paul to be available for Game 1 of the West Finals. The Suns said Paul's status will be evaluated again Saturday, which said he and Paul have talked daily this week. Q, we'll start with you.
Man, what can you say? What can you say about this situation? Because Phoenix is a rising team. I don't think anyone expected them to rise this fast this year. But Chris Paul is definitely the difference maker when it comes to that team. And I want to see him play. Chris Paul is definitely one of my favorite players. I'm not going to say I'm the biggest NBA fan, but he's been one of my favorite players for a while. And I'm one of those guys that wants to see him get a ring, and I think this is his opportunity. And if he misses it, man, it would seem like an omen on his career. Because when the Clippers were about to be, seemed like it was going to be this powerhouse team with him and Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, then you had the emergence of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. So it sucked for him, especially in the West these past, what has it been, about 8-9 years now?
Yeah.
So, you would hate to see COVID really take that away. And then if he's vaccinated, he should be fine. But I don't know the protocols here.
And here's the thing that's not being talked about, and you hit the nail on the head. It's we don't know if he's been vaccinated, but even it was speculated that most of the guys in the NBA have been vaccinated because they eased on kind of the restrictions and things like that. After, I believe it was Game 5, that Chris Paul had his family in the stands, and he went up in the stands right after the game. He had his family up there, gave, I believe it was mom, dad, brother hugs and all that, and there were fans that were sitting like within close proximity of his family. So Chris Paul didn't have on a mask or anything. It was right after the game, and if he had been vaccinated, let's just say he'd been vaccinated, that raises the question now of do these vaccinations work? I mean, that's probably one of the reasons that it has not been, portrayed by the league. It's like, all right, well, Chris has been vaccinated and he's still in the COVID-19 protocol. It's like that kind of doesn't make sense there. So I think there's a little bit more that we need to find out about this. And I think the first question is, had Chris Paul been vaccinated, and does he have COVID? Of course, they don't have to say that, but does he have it, or is he just, had he been around someone that hasn't? And if he's been vaccinated, then that kind of should, make it null and void.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're vaccinated, it doesn't stop you from getting it. It just stops it from, causing death, and really, going south. But if he's vaccinated, then yeah, like what are the protocols for that? I mean, because if you have it while you're vaccinated, yes, you're still contagious to others. But again, if everyone else around is vaccinated, it's just, and that's that fine line that any of these leagues don't even know how to deal with. Because even in the World Series, didn't one of the players end up getting it the last game, and they still allowed him to play or something? So
Justin Turner,
yeah. So it's it's just a gray area that we're living in right now. And I mean, I think they should let him play. I don't. If everyone is vaccinated, I'm.
and
I'm not even sure.
And I see Charmaine Harden had posted on the feed, is he the only guy that tested positive? And she read that he's vaccinated. Question is not true now. Well, we don't really know. The NBA hasn't put out any statements,
anything
like that. They're just saying, he's out indefinitely. And I know their head coach and they've been practicing, but Chris Paul hasn't been practicing. So I just don't know. We all don't know. It's kind of a head scratcher right now. So
definitely.
We first and foremost, we hope that everything is okay with Chris and his family, and hopefully he can, return to playing basketball.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It'll be interesting to see how these protocols end up rolling out in all the leagues, especially when it comes to vaccinated exposure, all that type of stuff. I know they're in ways they can't necessarily require you to have it, but pushing to have that vaccine. So what are the repercussions if you don't, and what are they planning to do with those people who don't? So I think
definitely.
It's kind of another hair scratcher. The NBA, I mean, not the NBA, the NFL put out a memo that all media personnel would need to be vaccinated if they want to interview players or, be in a press box this season. But when one of the media members had posed a question, it's like, okay, where you're making it mandatory that media personnel have to do it. But then again, people that are on your own payroll, players, coaches, people in the front office, you're not making them, and fans, you're not making it mandatory for everyone like that to be vaccinated. So why just pick out the media? Seems kind of backwards, but things that make you go,
Facts. Now, LeBron James says he predicted rash of injuries after quick turnaround to start the season, as the competitive balance of the NBA playoffs is being compromised by a rash of injuries, with player health affecting just about every second round series. LA Lakers star LeBron James said he saw this coming. He offered his best wishes to Kawhi Leonard of the LA Clippers and published a series of tweets reflecting on the objections he voiced when the league fast-tracked the 2020 and 2021 season to begin just 71 days after the Lakers were crowned champions in October.
This kind of LeBron need to stop. First of all, here's the thing.
Oh, here we go, Steve.
No, hear me out. The injuries that happen. Like, so, okay. Look at Joel. Just throw us people. Joel Embiid. He had an injury, but Joel has been he's been injury prone. Kyrie Irving. He came down on a foot. Like that's something that happens in basketball. That's not because of wear and tear or playing too much basketball. That's just one of those freak things. Like, oh, I sprained my ankle because I came down on someone's foot after doing a layup. Then you look at guys like Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis has been injured all season. Has been injured his whole basketball career. So that's not because of wear and tear and coming back early from the new season from last season. You look at James Harden. James Harden was injured last year, so you got all these guys who have been injured or been injury prone. It's not because of being tired or your body being, just physically, just tired. Like it's too much better. Now I get it. They shouldn't have come back early, but for him to come out and say, these injuries are just because of they come back too soon. No, I can't agree with that.
Steve, Dr. Steve says exhaustion doesn't play a role in muscles and tendons. That's quite a stretch, Steve, especially to say when you're being recorded.
Yeah, but you got to think about it though. If these guys have already been injured, or if it's just like a freak thing, there was a cause for the injury, right? Like LeBron, his own injury. Like LeBron wasn't injured this year because of overwork or overuse to it. He was his injury. You remember we played LeBron.
When do people get diagnosed with being overworked with injuries? Like Steve, we got to stop this.
LeBron's injury on his ankle was because a player dove in front of him and rolled over his ankle. That's not because of that injury isn't because he was running down and I tore my ACL like that. That is you've been overusing or Chris Paul shoulder injury, things like that, not because of you actually injured it because of something.
Okay, so then what about recovery time?
LeBron had all the recovery time in the world.
Okay. LeBron had it now. I like how your arguments always are very fluid when it comes to LeBron. It's a good one, Steve.
I had to try to keep LeBron out of it. I brought up all the other players and all of their injuries. So look at Anthony Davis' recovery time. Anthony Davis was out and then he came back. But you can't. He's kind of the guy that's been injured his whole career. So we just can't say, you're continually injured because of overuse of your body.
That happens, yes. And then recovery time gets longer, especially when your body needs more time to repair. And that's what the off season's for, Steve. Let's not act like the off season is some arbitrary thing that they just came up with.
And okay, I'll give you that. But here's the thing: when LeBron had come out and said, "All right, well, maybe we need to think about coming back too soon," he still came back. He still wanted to get those checks. He didn't come out. He didn't say.
What was he gonna do? And not play? The face of the league is not gonna play. No,
LeBron James.
No,
if you come out and say I'm not playing, they'll rethink it. I'm telling you, man. LeBron James is a money maker. If he came out and said, we're not gonna do the All-Star game, we're not gonna come out and play so soon. You can push it back as far as you need to, but we're not playing. We need more rest. He didn't come out.
LeBron couldn't stop the whole season last year. Let's Steve, this is so funny. I love it. I love Steve's LeBron arguments because they never apply to anyone else. But yeah.
I think it's the perfect time for a quick break. Coming up, we'll continue our headlines discussion, starting with the NBA playoffs. We'll discuss this when we come back. This is the W Show.
Yeah.
The W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small Direct Club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. on 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Remember to interact with our show. Use hashtag talk about it. Message us, and we'll talk about whatever topic you want. Starting off with Jokic, Giannis, and Steph Curry lead 2021 All-NBA first team. The Denver Nuggets, the 2021 Kia NBA Most Valuable Player, and two-time MVPs Giannis of the Milwaukee Bucks and Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors led the first team. And the NBA announced also LeBron James is now the first player in NBA history to make 17 All-NBA teams.
Yeah. Talk about greatness, Steve. You like that, Steve?
Hey, I apply LeBron James on that. It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Because, rest in peace to Kobe, but he didn't do that, man.
Hey, here's the thing. He won more championships, so that's all that matters. You want 17 all NBA teams, or you want the most championships? I'd take more championships. Go figure. Go figure.
I mean, he didn't play with Shaq for the first half of his career, so I get it.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. When you look at all these guys who are on this list, one guy that definitely should have been on this list is KD. There's no KD on this list, even though he didn't play most of the season, but I still feel like Kevin Durant is the best player in the world right now, hands down. It's not even close. He's not on this list. And I know they go off of regular season and stats and things like that. I just feel like Kevin Durant should have been on this list.
You said they go by regular season and stats and all of that like it's nothing. That's so funny.
When you look at it, you look at the playoffs now. You see what Kevin Durant is doing. He's unstoppable.
But this is, again, you said it's based off of the regular season. So now we're trying to make an exception to add him in.
Exception to the rule. Gotta be.
Okay. Yeah.
You broken a rule once or twice before in your life, Q. You got to break something.
Hey, I know if it was LeBron, you wouldn't have these same sentiments. So
definitely not.
Now, Naomi Osaka withdraws from Wimbledon, marking second Grand.
Yes.
Osaka is taking some personal time with friends and family. She will be ready for the Olympics and is excited to play in front of her home fans. What are your thoughts, Steve?
I want to question, and I'm not questioning the reason why she's done it, but I'm wondering, does she? And I know mental health is a tough thing, a tough situation, right? But my question is she in need of help? Is she in need of some type of help, whether it be from her family, whether it be from someone? And I'm not questioning, her withdrawing from any of, Wimbledon or the French Open or anything like that. I'm just wondering, is she in need of some type of help? I hope she's able to get it.
I wouldn't say she's in need of help for herself. I think we look at what transpired 2 weeks ago, and we didn't get a solution from it. All we got is a punishment that she was punished for taking care of her own health. And in that same breath, why would you want to go out and risk your mental or physical health for a different tournament that treats you just the same as the tournament previous, that once again didn't find a solution? They could have found a solution, and they chose not to. They chose to impose their will, and she's foregoing this to get herself right so she can participate in the Olympics for Japan. So yeah, no, I whatever relationship she has with the country she wants to play for, clearly they respect her a lot more. And there's something there, and she's just not going to say anything. So again, we look at what happened with Le'Veon and Andy Reid. The victim, comes out and says, "Hey, I don't want to be a part of this," and then the other side, decides to play the bigger role and say, "Hey, we still, the show has to go on. We're rooting for you," but they aren't actually rooting for her. They're rooting for the money that she's going to bring them. And when you are a player that's outspoken like that, no, you don't want to play or work for any type of organization that doesn't respect you, your health, or your well-being.
And I want to ask you, Jazz and Q, both. So should she come out and say, "Hey," and I know she's been quiet about it all, but should she come out and say, "Hey, these are the reasons," that
no, she
And
shouldn't.
hear me out for a second. These are the reasons that, you guys look at me a certain way. You guys are treating me a certain way, and this is the reason why I felt like I needed to take time away. But I only ask that because do you feel like it would help, people that would follow her, in the future?
For me, and I respected this situation a lot in the way that she's went about it, because I think she doesn't owe an explanation to anybody. She doesn't owe an explanation to her fans. She doesn't owe an explanation to the things she's withdrawing from. She doesn't have to explain herself. And I think especially if it has to do with mental health, and it's not any outside factors, anything that they've necessarily done to her, it's that's something that she's coping with, and she should be able to cope with that behind closed doors. Just because she's an athlete or a public figure doesn't mean she has to explain her situation or what she's going through. So I think it's more for her. It's a privacy thing, and not you can be somebody who likes to speak up and stand for things, but maybe she's not one of those people. She wants to take care of it and deal with it how she wants to deal with it. And I don't think that just because she's an athlete or a public figure, she has to explain that she's going through something. Everybody goes through something, and I think just because she's on this pedestal doesn't mean that it needs to be publicly known.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, definitely agree. And best of luck to her in the Olympics with Japan, because
right.
Ooh.
But facts. For sure. Now we're going to take a quick break. Coming up, we'll have our Hate It or Love It segment and kick it off with our Sneakers of the Week. This is the W Show. We will be right back.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
Dre, when he was younger, he loved to smile. And we knew he would need braces because his teeth were coming in funny. That's when he had the bunny rabbits. We called them the bunny rabbit.
Now, those are the same two front teeth there that they are now.
Then Dre ended up having to wear braces for 5 years because he never made it to appointments because he was busy playing basketball. If he missed practice, he don't get to play in the game.
This is the picture that was on the front page of the newspaper. All you can notice is the braces.
Then once he got to Michigan State, he broke the retainer.
My bottom teeth, they were really crooked, and I just wasn't getting braces again. Small direct club fits into my lifestyle so well. The liner is so great. It's easy to just grab it and go, and then I can change on the road. I did photo shoots with my liners in, and you can't see them.
I wish Small Direct Club would have been around when I was paying for them. I wouldn't have had to take them out of school. I wouldn't have had to miss work.
It's like a great feeling to have good teeth. A smile is a first impression. That's why I think having a great smile is so important.
You're tuned in to the W with Walls and the Crew, where winning isn't everything. It's the only thing. On 100.1 FM and Facebook Live.
It's that time for Love It or Hate It.
Hate it.
If we love it, we talk about it. If we hate it, we move on.
Starting off for our Sneakers of the Week this week, we have the Ambush Nike Dunk High Deep Royals. What are you guys thinking?
I like these.
These are kind of all right,
Yeah, I kind of like these. That oversized Nike symbol. I like that.
I just don't like the fact that that's going to hang off the back of my shoe. Like it just.
Yeah, I think I worry about that too. But it's the same thing with the fours, like the little flap that kind of hangs off on the side. I worry about that. But
see the flaps and how it hangs out kind of gives me like superhero vibes. You know, like,
yeah, like the Flash. Yeah.
I don't know. I like the colorway, but I don't know about this. The Nike Dunk Low Dusty Olive.
I don't like the name.
Hey, they are as dusty as the name suggests.
I agree. You're a fan of these?
What'd you say?
Are you a fan of these?
No. I mean, they cool. I can't. No, let me back up. I would probably wear them, but you know, they're not in my top fave. You know, I just can't. Nah. The name just throws it off for me. When you call my shoes dusty, I think it's some run over Reeboks. Like that just you can't call my shoes dusty. Like what are those? Oh, I got on these dusty olives. Nah, that just don't sit right with me.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Now the Nike KD 14 Deep Runs.
I like these actually, a little pastel. Yeah, I like these. They're a hoop shoe. I can't see myself walking around with them, but I would hoop in them.
Yeah, it's a no for me.
Yeah, for hooping, but not for casual wear.
Yeah.
My personal favorite this week, the Nike Blazer Mid 77 Indigo.
I like
definitely.
The only thing about them is they're not leather; they're canvas. So once you like wear them out, and that canvas is gonna start turning yellow if you wash it. It's gonna look like a old work shirt. You ever seen someone? You ever seen somebody that like working? I used to work at Price Chopper, but like when you go out there, you push carts, and like you have to wash your shirt. You only got like 4 shirts to rotate. So once you start washing them over and over again, they start turning yellow. They're not white anymore. So that's what these are gonna do after one, like get some dirt on them and try to rub it off, see what happens.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I would say I just hate the left side of this sneaker of the week today.
Yeah.
Facts. Now, Vince Wilfork's son arrested for allegedly stealing his Super Bowl rings. Hate it or love it?
Oh.
Yeah, hate it.
I do.
Hate it.
There you go.
Yeah, the defensive lineman Vince Wilfork was arrested last month after allegedly stealing his father's Super Bowl rings and other championship rings and jewelry, according to Galveston County Daily News. He was arrested May 22nd and charged with theft of property greater than $300,000 per the report.
Sheesh.
Yeah, the big hit.
It is. And the crazy thing about it is, like, why would you steal your father's Super Bowl rings? Like, that doesn't make sense. And I understand certain things happen, but you know, Vince Wilfork is a big dude.
Mm-hmm.
First of all. So you get a hold of you, it ain't gonna be nothing nice. But I think he didn't know until I think it was reported that he had no idea that they were gone until he went to move. And that's when he found out, like, hey, my rings are gone. So he filed a police report. And for whatever reason, the ring showed up on someone else was selling the rings. So they tracked it back. And that person said that, hey, I bought them from this person who ended up being Vince Wilfork's son. He bought them for like, what, $60,000. So that's how they ended up finding out it was his son. So it's like, your own son does you dirty like that? Come on. Something else with that. We're not getting the whole story, I don't think, but something else is up. And I know Vince Wilfork, he spent a lot of time in the league currently. And so he's got a few million, and I don't feel like he needs the money.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
Because you hear some guys that sell their championship rings, it's like, oh, well, you know that guy kind of needs some bread. And I don't think Vince Wilfork is one of those guys. He seems pretty
definitely not. Yeah.
Now, Charlotte Hornets LaMelo Ball voted Rookie of the Year, sources say.
Yeah.
I love it.
Here goes another. I'm just waiting on. We haven't seen or heard from LeVar Ball. Why is that? Your son wins Rookie of the Year, and we haven't heard from you. Normally, right about now, he'd be making his rounds. Q.
Yeah, it's like the calm before the storm, though. I think he's gonna have something to say, and it's gonna be way off the wall since this one's a pretty great accolade.
Yeah, I mean this is just a big middle finger to everyone in the media that said, "Hey, you're hindering your sons. Your sons aren't gonna, all of everything that they said." And he has 2 sons in the league, and one of them's a Rookie of the Year. So love it for the big guy.
Props to him. Draymond Green, Damian Lillard set to join Team USA for Olympic basketball. Hate it or love it.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Yeah, I love it too. And here's the thing about this: you hear all of the guys that have played before. Like, I mean, we all know about the Dream Team with Michael Jordan and all those guys. Mm-hmm. And as a kid growing up, watching the Dream Team and watching what they were able to do in the Olympics, it's like, man, I want to. Everybody wanted to be like Mike, right? They saw his billboards when he went overseas and had the big Michael Jordan plastered over buildings and things like that. And these guys now, it's like, I don't feel like some guys, young guys, they don't respect it. But then other guys, like, man, I'm going to play. Like, I'm going to play for my country. I know what it means to win a gold medal. Not every day you can win a gold medal. But shout out to these guys who are one of the first that have came out and said, hey, even after the shortened season, without rest, I'm still going to, get ready to play in the Olympics.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. You would hope that rest doesn't, not having that rest doesn't affect them, but I would love to see him play.
Yeah.
For sure. And Kentucky head coach John Calipari reported open to returning to NBA. Hate it or love it.
I love it.
It's that domino that we were talking about. The cards are falling now. Because you remember Roy Williams retired. Now Coach K says after the season he's going to retire. John Calipari is like, hey, I'm not going to be stuck here looking around like everybody's pointing the finger at me. So with the different allegations. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna try to have this come out and let people know that I'm open. If you guys have any open coaching gigs, hey, Coach Cal is open. That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah, and I mean, we know the reason for the timing of this, and I would like to see it. I'd like to see him get a run up there and see what else he could do. So. It's not like Nick Saban going to the NFL. I think this will be a little better than that.
But you know why college coaches don't all think about taking that jump is because you have a little bit shorter leash in the NBA. And so they feel like, oh, well, I can stick down here and I can make a few million. And now I think that keeping guys with your program is coming into play as well. Not only the allegations coming out around but keeping these guys with programs. Coach Cal already had an issue with guys being one and done, and having to refill the funnel every year. But now it's like, all right, I'm having to deal with these allegations, and I'm going to have to be able to allow these guys to leave if they don't like my program or like what's going on. I don't think I want to do that. I'd rather take my chances in the NBA. So. And there's some coaching jobs that are out.
And it's another control thing, man. You look at, wanting to control your own narrative. And these coaches, I mean, you can't pay players under the table anymore. A lot of the things that go on behind the scenes, you can't do it anymore. I mean, surveillance has definitely increased. We saw it last year with the Arizona coach and Bill Self, and it was a lot going on around that. And the toughest thing for them when they get to the league, especially for college coaches, the toughest thing is you're dealing with grown men that make their own decisions.
Right.
So, you don't have this overwhelming level of authority that a college coach would have because they could take your scholarship away or whatever it is. I mean, now we've seen it. If a coach isn't vibing with you, he could just not play you, kind of like Andy Reid. did in one of the biggest games of his life and didn't score a touchdown. But we're not going to go back to traumatic events for you guys. But yeah, no, it's these coaches definitely are going to start leaving the college game and probably starting to go towards the league, the NBA, and then possibly the G League. I mean, why would you want to deal with that headache of FBI investigating you?
I think it'll be interesting to see how some of the players that he coached in college react to him in the NBA. Because at that point, you know, when you go to college and you've already signed for at least a year, even his one and done's, like if there's any type of problems or they have any type of beef with him, it's like, well, I'm just gonna be here for a year and I'm out anyways. So I feel like now we might get more of the scoop on like how his players feel, because they can speak out and be like, hey, if this doesn't happen, then I'm leaving or whatever. So just to see how that relationship dynamic turns out if he does move to the NBA.
I agree.
Now, Jason Kidd, Teresa Weatherspoon among top candidates for Pelicans head coach. Hate it or love it?
I love it. Love it. I would love to see Teresa Weatherspoon land this job. I would love to see it.
Yeah, it'll be historic. You know, just because, I mean, not only being a female, but being a Black female, right? Like that's something that we need to see. And it's cool because she's already in the building. Like she's already
been there.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times, so you hear about, you know, coaching vacancies or whatever, but normally when you hear about coaching vacancies, you don't hear about those vacancies at a premier place with a star player. Right? Like, I mean, you have Zion, you have so many good players on that squad to where she doesn't really have to reinvent the wheel. Like they're already set. And so I hope she's able to get it. And I think Jason Kidd, now that the Dallas job is open, I think Jason Kidd, having played there, I feel like that'll be a move that he would probably move to. But I hope that Teresa Weatherspoon is able to get this job.
Yeah, and just her to even come down to, I don't even know if they're the final two, but just even being a top candidate, it says a lot. And I hope it's more than just, you know, performative. I hope it's more than what the NFL does and just, you know, let's interview a Black guy at the last one just to fill the quota. Like, I hope this isn't one of those, you know, filling the quotas. So again, I hope she honestly gets the job. And is able to succeed.
Like she got the resume to back it up. Like she could actually hoop. She's one of the WNBA players of all time. Like she could hoop.
Yes, yes. That I don't think any of that is a question, or she wouldn't even be on the team as it is anyway. So again, yeah, I hope she gets it.
Yeah, I definitely love to see it. Now, the IWC and Airspeeder are joining forces to launch a new electric flying race car competition. Hate it or love it?
Love it.
I don't like this. And the reason why is because they're calling it. Why are they calling it a race car competition? That doesn't look like a race car to me. That looks like a flying something, like a drone. That's why I'm like, nah, this isn't a race car. It's a plane. That what you call there is a plane. Like they're saying it's the world's first electric flying car racing series. That's what they're forming this group. And they said it's a mix between a Formula One car and a drone. I see drone. I don't see Formula One car.
So is it remote controlled, or does somebody actually inside it drive it?
I think someone's gonna drive it. Yeah. I think that someone is going to be on board operating it. And I mean, Steve, if we're going to go with semantics and this is not a flying car, I mean, those things on your ears look like speakers and not headphones.
But seriously though, like when you think of flying car, like we thought about Jetsons and back in the day, like, oh, well, your 2020 is going to be the flying car. Year 2000 is going to be where they have the flying cars, and we're still not there yet. But this just seems like a jet. It just seems like a jet to me with propellers. It's a mix between a helicopter and a airplane. And it's not. It has no car any resemblances or anything.
I mean,
like
does it have an engine like a car?
No, it has those propellers.
Here goes Steve.
But it'd be cool to see though. Like I want to see him actually race things because I've had a chance to see those the drone races, and those things move. Like it's not a game.
Ready to see it.
Now Jimmy Kimmel named title sponsor of inaugural LA Bowl. Hated or love it.
I love it.
I mean, clearly they needed the money,
right?
Thanks.
Yeah, I really don't have a comment about that. Like Jimmy's just Jimmy. Like, he doesn't play. See if he played football before. They're just using it as name recognition. Like Jim Brown. Yeah. Jim Brown is in LA. Why don't they have a Jim Brown Bowl?
Jim Brown doesn't move the needle.
Yeah, right.
Now, Herm Edwards under investigation for NCAA violations at Arizona State. I love it.
You hate it. You hate it for him because all the other coaches are doing it. So, again, you look at Coach Kyle wanting to leave. You look at Coach K wanting to leave NCAA sports. We're looking at why.
Yeah, and you play to win the game, right? I got something for you all real quick.
It's called being a professional. And they're going to do that. They're going to be a pro. That's part of the deal. Everyone here is going to be that. Now, if they don't do that, then that's coaches, players, management, anybody. They don't do that, then they need to go somewhere else. You bristling up? No. Oh, just make sure you're not. Because I can bristle up too now. I mean, you ask a question like that, and I'm trying to give you a logical answer. That's unthinkable to me. That you have an opportunity in your lifetime to be a professional, that you think about quitting. See, you don't quit it, and you don't quit in sports. You retire. You don't get to quit. That's not an option. See, someone told me that a long time ago. That ain't even an option. The person told me that, he ain't here anymore. He died.
You play to win the game. Play to win the game. Like, so he's playing, and the reason that they had all with the allegation, there was someone inside of Arizona State's, I want to say football or the front office, so to speak, that they called him a whistleblower, and they said that he had told someone else that Herm and his staff were during the pandemic. The NCAA had these regulations that they set forth that said, hey, you can't go and meet with players, meet with recruits. And so Herm and his staff were still going and meeting with recruits during that time. And so that was the reason that they're having these allegations. It wasn't like paying players or anything like that. It was just that, like, they were still trying to go and reach out and meet with players during the quarantine time. So
yeah, no harm, no foul, but
right. Play to win the game, Herm. Play to win the game.
Now, Bears submit bid to buy Arlington Racetrack, which can signal move to Chicago's suburbs. Andrew, love it.
I love it.
I love it because Soldier Field is trash. Like, trash. Very much so.
Yeah, I've never been to Soldier Field, but I could imagine they haven't touched that stadium in years.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that they would move it to the suburbs because that takes away jobs from inner city people, but especially the people that need it.
All right, and we have our Fifth Avenue album of the week. Q, want to talk about this album?
Love this album, man. I think she had to shelve it for a year, of course, because of the year we had last year. But I love this album. I love the complexity of it. I love the differences of the different tracks, the different concepts that she used. And she's just an artist through and through. So if you haven't listened to it, definitely listen to it. Fans of R&B will definitely love this because it's a little everything. So
yeah, I'm really feeling it, man. I like this. I like the sound, man. I listened to it last night, and it's really nice. It's really nice.
Definitely.
It doesn't give you that like female crying type vibe, like I miss you or I'm mad that you left me. None of that. Like it's actually cool. I like it.
Good content.
Yeah.
Oh my. For
sure. Jazz, gonna have to jam that.
I will be. I already have.
All right, as always, we appreciate everyone for tuning in on today's show. Remember, you can catch a rewind of our show on Mondays on 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio, anytime on social media. Next week, we'll be live at 9 Round Fitness in downtown Kansas City. That's where we'll be broadcasting from. So if you want to come out and hang out with us, you can find more information about that on all of our social media pages. Until next week, we are out of here.
Peace.
Opinions expressed in the W Radio Show by the host, co-host, guests, and call-in listeners are solely the opinions and responsibility of the original source who expressed them. They do not represent the opinions of the W Show, 100.1 FM, 1 Kansas City Radio, Sideline Sports Talk, Team Wall Street Foundation, or affiliates.